exhibition at the French embassy where they were presenting their work on how to make film. I actually did, yeah.
Don, thanks for accepting to be with us. Could you explain us what are these goals and how do you reach them?
So the WYSS really, the vision behind it is that we've uncovered a huge amount about how nature builds, controls, and manufactures all the way from the nanoscale up over the past 50 years. And so what we're trying to do is to harness biological principles that we've uncovered to develop new engineering innovations with the goal to basically have breakthroughs both in medicine and in sustainability and the environment.
One of the most important parts of your work here is the way you work. Can you tell us more about these collaboratories?
Yeah, so we are an academic institution, and usually in academia, individual scientists get their own lab space and they make their own little communities. Here, we let the faculty keep their own lab spaces in their home institutions, but we bring them together in what we call collaboratories, where they collaborate collectively on new inventions, discoveries, and technologies by bringing together people from different academic labs, different faculty labs, together with people we've hired from industry who have experience in product development and reducing ideas to practice, thinking about manufacturing costs, regulatory issues. And so we've created a culture that by definition is not defined by any one individual, but by collaboration, and that collaboration almost always spans entirely different disciplines. It goes from medical to non-medical. It goes from undergraduate student to senior faculty member.
So would you say that this collaborative part it's more important than the money you put for innovation or not?
It's interesting. I think people think we put huge investments of dollars towards we don't at all. We hire the staff based on need who come from industry or technical expertise. We have students and fellows that are paid by grants, or we have a small amount of money that each faculty member could have 2 students or fellows work on anything they want, complete creative freedom. But we have large numbers of students and fellows and technicians and staff working, and for the most part they're paid, they're already here, so if someone has a new idea and he gets a few other people excited, they can just work on it. And there's some money for supplies that they can access. We have incredible equipment and capabilities, and if someone needs some major new piece of equipment, if we have a bunch of groups aligned on that, we have funds to buy that. But it's really the creative environment that's empowering for people to take chances, because they have all the tools, meaning people and equipment and supplies, that they could just play. And if things come up, they get other people excited, then it's like a snowball falling downhill. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it has a life of its own. And that's how projects emerge. We don't pre-select we're working on this. It's very interesting, and that's totally different.
There are some impressive inputs like Shrilk.
So one of the technologies we developed here was inspired by the challenge was to develop replacements for plastics because it's killing the environment. And so Javier Fernandez, who worked with me actually on this project, made a synthetic form of insect cuticle that we call Shrilk because it's made of 2 materials. One is chitosan that comes from shrimp shells, which is one of the most abundant materials in the world, and the other is fibroin that comes from silk, so we called it Shrilk. And it's made like a laminate, like plywood layers, and it has very unique properties, very much like insect cuticle. It could be rigid like the back of a beetle, but it could also be flexible like where the articulations are with the legs. Another example is the Organ on Chips program that we have, where we're using microchip manufacturing to make very small devices that have hollow channels that are lined by living human cells. For example, we mimic the air sac of the lung. The lung actually breathes. It's flexible, so we stretch and relax it, and the gut stretches and relaxes like peristalsis. And it turns out that movement's critical for function. And with that, we've shown we could demonstrate drug effects, we could look at toxicities of drugs, we could even model human disease processes on chip. And that's gained interest from pharmaceutical companies, biotech, cosmetics, and even chemical companies, because animal testing is a major hurdle, and there are ethical issues, but also it doesn't work very well, especially in the pharmaceutical industry.
Do you think we can teach innovation, or innovation is something that is inside some people?
I think innovation is probably inside everyone, but it has to be sparked like with a flint, you know, like to start a fire. And I think you do that by apprenticing and getting involved, and in the process you kind of do it without realizing it. It's very hard to tell someone how to do it. It's like telling someone how to ride a bicycle. You know, it's just you have to get in there and play.
Well, in any case, you share your knowledge with everybody. I mean, there was a French group here today, so.
I talk to people from around. People come from around the world to visit. I travel around the world. I'm on the press a lot, and I'm very excited about the model. I think, you know, people often come wanting to hear about a specific technology, but I think what in some ways is most powerful and unique and impactful about the place is how we are structured to collaborate, innovate, and translate. And that has not been done before. And the more people that come visit, the more we realize it is truly novel. And people that don't know how to do it at their own place, because they often have pre-existing structures, politics, powers, you know, that this might be disruptive. But we were founded to be disruptive. That's why we're successful.